The shuttle hit the ground harder than any landing Wu Jin had ever experienced. Metal screamed. Warning lights flooded the cockpit red. Then everything went dark except for the emergency systems glowing their dim orange light. "Hana, status report," Wu Jin said, trying to move. His body felt like someone had strapped weights to every limb. Even breathing took effort. I can't move properly," Hana answered from behind him. Her voice was strained, panicked. "Captain, something's wrong. Everything feels so heavy." Wu Jin tried to stand. His legs barely responded. When he finally got upright, his knees nearly buckled. His uniform felt like it was made of lead. His gun belt pulled at his waist like an anchor. "Sangwoo," Wu Jin called out to their engineer. A groan came from the back compartment. "Sir, I think my back is broken. I can't feel my legs." Wu Jin's stomach dropped. They had been traveling to Prime for what Earth Command called a diplomatic meeting. First contact with the Empire. A chance for humanity to join the greater galactic community. The mission briefing had mentioned nothing about extreme gravity. The shuttle's external cameras still worked. Wu Jin pulled up the feed on his wrist display. Outside, beings floated toward their crash site. They rode on platforms that hovered above the ground, completely untouched by whatever force was crushing the human crew. "We have visitors," Wu Jin said. He pulled his sidearm from its holster. The gun felt like it weighed 20 kilograms instead of 2. The shuttle door opened with a hiss. 3 aliens entered, floating on their platforms. They were tall and thin, with long limbs that looked too delicate to support their own weight. Their skin had a purple color, and their eyes were large and dark. They wore elaborate robes that seemed to float around them independent of any breeze. The one in front spoke, and a small device on its platform translated the words into Korean. "Greetings, humans. I am Ambassador of the Empire. Welcome to our world." "You crashed our shuttle," Wu Jin said. He kept his gun pointed at the floor, but his hand stayed on the grip. "A necessary demonstration," said. The translator made his voice sound calm, almost bored. "Your species shows excellent potential. Your bone density is remarkable. Your muscle structure is efficient. You are almost perfect for the work we need done." "What work?" Hana asked. She had managed to crawl forward, though the effort left her gasping. "Prime has gravity 4.2 times your Earth standard," explained. "Most species cannot function here without gravity compensation technology. But your species, with some training and conditioning, could work in our mines, our factories, our construction sites. You could do the labor that machines cannot, in places where even machines struggle." Wu Jin felt cold anger spreading through his chest. "You're talking about slavery." "We prefer the term productive citizenship," said. 17 other species currently provide labor services to the Empire. All are well cared for. All receive appropriate compensation. All live far longer than they would have on their primitive home worlds. "All are slaves," Wu Jin said. "All are alive," countered. "Which is more than can be said for species that chose to resist. The gravity of Prime is not punishment, Captain. It is simply reality. Those who accept reality survive. Those who fight it are crushed." Behind, the other two watched with interest. One held a data pad making notes. The other had what looked like a weapon, though it was small and didn't seem threatening. "You have 1 hour to decide," said. "Accept placement in our labor integration program, or attempt to resist and discover how unforgiving this planet can be. Every species we have encountered has made the wise choice. Survival over pride, logic over emotion, reality over fantasy." "And if we choose option 3, Wu Jin asked. Tilted his head. "There is no option 3. "Sure there is," Wu Jin said. "We choose violence." Made a sound the translator interpreted as laughter. "Captain, you can barely stand. Your crew member cannot move at all. Your medical officer looks ready to collapse. What violence could you possibly commit in your condition?" Wu Jin's hand tightened on his gun. Every muscle in his body screamed. His heart pounded in his chest, working overtime to pump blood against the crushing gravity. His vision had spots at the edges, but he had spent 10 years in the Korean Space Force. He had trained in extreme environments. He had survived situations that would have killed softer men. More importantly, he had grown up in a country that remembered occupation. Korea had been invaded, colonized, divided. His grandparents had stories about foreign powers who thought Koreans would simply accept their fate. Those powers had been wrong. "Let me explain something about humans," Woo Jin said slowly. He shifted his weight, finding his center of gravity. "We're not the strongest species. We're not the fastest, but we're the most stubborn creatures you'll ever meet." "Stubbornness without strength is just a slow death," said. "Maybe," Woo Jin agreed. "But here's the thing about death. It comes for everyone eventually. The question is what you do before it arrives." He raised his gun. The movement took every bit of strength he had. His arm shook. His shoulder burned. But the barrel pointed steady at its floating platform. "You're being irrational," said. There was something new in his voice now. Uncertainty, maybe. "Even if you damage my platform, you cannot escape. You cannot fight. You can barely breathe." "You're right," Woo Jin said. "I probably can't win, but I can make you regret ever thinking humans would make good slaves." Hana was pulling herself toward the shuttle's equipment locker. Woo Jin could hear her straining, cursing under her breath. She understood what he was doing. She was backing him up, even when it seemed hopeless. That was what humans did. "Last chance," said. "Accept reality, live, serve, survive." Woo Jin thought about Earth. He thought about humanity's brief time in space, exploring, hopping to find friends among the stars. He thought about his crew, his responsibility to get them home safe. He thought about every human who would come after him, and what would happen if the galaxy's first impression of humanity was that they could be enslaved with a little gravity and some threats. "Reality is what you make it," Woo Jin said, "and I'm about to make yours very unpleasant." He pulled the trigger. The gun's recoil nearly knocked him over, but the shot was true. His platform sparked, smoked, and died. The ambassador dropped like a stone, experiencing full gravity for the first time in decades. The impact knocked the wind from his lungs. He lay there, gasping, unable to understand what his body was telling him. The other two backed away in panic, their platforms retreating toward the door. Woo Jin took one step forward, then another. Each movement was agony, but he was moving. He was standing. He was advancing. "Tell your empire," Woo Jin said to the fleeing aliens, "that humans don't kneel." Crawled on the floor trying to reach his fallen platform. His thin arms shook. His legs couldn't support his weight. Woo Jin watched without sympathy. This was what the ambassador wanted to do to humanity, make them crawl, make them weak, make them servants. "Hana, how's Sangwoo?" Woo Jin asked, keeping his gun trained on the struggling alien. "Not good," Hana replied. She had reached the medical supplies and was pulling equipment toward the engineer. "His spine is fractured in 2 places. I need to stabilize him, but I can barely lift the equipment." "Do what you can," Woo Jin said. "I'll buy us time." Outside the shuttle, alarms were sounding. Woo Jin could hear movement, voices, the hum of engines. They were responding to his attack on their ambassador. They would come prepared this time. Woo Jin moved through the shuttle, dragging his feet. Each step felt like walking through wet concrete. He reached the engineering bay and started pulling tools from the storage lockers. Hydraulic lifters, power cells, emergency cables, the components of their shuttle's landing gear system. His plan was simple and desperate. The shuttle used hydraulic systems to support its weight during landing. Those systems were designed to work against gravity, to lift and stabilize. If he could modify them, wear them, they might let him move more freely. "Captain, that's insane," Hana said when she saw what he was doing. "Those systems weren't designed for human bodies. They could crush you." "This planet is already crushing me." Wu Jin said. He was stripping the hydraulic supports from the landing gear, fastening them to his legs with emergency cables. At least this way I can move. The work took 20 minutes, 20 minutes of sweat and pain and improvisation. The result looked like something from a nightmare. Hydraulic pistons ran along his legs, connected to a power cell on his back. Emergency cables wrapped around his torso, holding everything together. It was ugly and crude and probably dangerous. But when Wu Jin activated it, he could stand straight. He could walk without feeling like his legs would snap. The hydraulics took the weight, let him move like he was back on Earth. "It works," he said, surprised. "For now," Hana said. "But Captain, those power cells will last maybe 3 hours, and your body is still under stress. Your heart, your lungs, your bones. The suit helps your muscles, but the rest of you is still being crushed." "Then I better work fast," Wu Jin said. Hana pulled a medical injector from her kit. "This is a combat stimulant. It will keep you alert, keep your heart strong, keep you moving. But it's dangerous. Each dose puts enormous stress on your cardiovascular system." "How many can I take?" "1, maybe 2 before your heart gives out," Hana said. She loaded the injector. "I'm trained to save lives, Captain, not to help people destroy themselves." "I know," Wu Jin said. "But if I don't do this, we all die anyway. At least this way we die fighting." Hana pressed the injector against his neck. The medication hit his system like electricity. His vision sharpened. His heart rate jumped. The pain in his body faded to a distant throb. He felt strong, focused, ready. "Thank you," he said. "Don't thank me," Hana replied. "Just don't die." The shuttle door exploded inward. 6 combat drones floated into the compartment, each the size of a large dog. They had multiple arms ending in various tools and weapons. They moved with mechanical precision, surrounding the humans. "Humans, you are under arrest," a synthetic voice announced from the lead drone. "Surrender immediately or face pacification measures." Wu Jin grabbed the nearest drone and slammed it against the wall. The hydraulic suit gave him strength, let him move fast despite the gravity. The drone sparked and died. He reached for his gun, but another drone fired first. A net of energy hit him, making his muscles lock up. The pain was incredible. The hydraulic suit went rigid. Wu Jin fell to his knees, fighting to stay conscious. Then the energy cut off. Hana stood behind the drone with a piece of broken metal, having smashed its power core. "I'm a doctor, not a fighter," she said, "but desperate times make fighters of us all." Wu Jin forced himself up. 2 drones remained. He charged one, using the suit's momentum. The impact sent both of them through the shuttle wall into the open air outside. Wu Jin landed hard, the drone crushed beneath him. Around him, the city spread out. Buildings floated at various heights, connected by energy bridges. Aliens moved between structures on their gravity platforms. Everything was designed for a species that didn't need to touch the ground. The remaining drone from inside the shuttle emerged, tracking Wu Jin with multiple sensors. He grabbed a piece of debris and threw it. The hydraulic suit let him throw hard, fast. The debris hit the drone's main body, cracking its shell. Wu Jin rushed forward and tore the machine apart with his hands. More alarms, more drones coming. Wu Jin looked around, assessing his situation. The shuttle was ruined. Hana was inside with Sangwoo, who couldn't be moved. He was wearing a jury-rigged suit that would fail in hours. He was on an alien planet with gravity that wanted to kill him. But he was standing. He was fighting. He was making them reconsider their assumptions about humanity. Through the city's communication system, a voice spoke. "Human Captain, this is Commander of the Defense Force. Your resistance is futile. You cannot escape this planet. You cannot defeat our military. You are one individual against an empire." Wu Jin found a communication panel on the crashed shuttle's exterior. He activated it. "Commander, this is Captain Wu Jin Park of the Korean Space Force. I'm not trying to escape. I'm not trying to defeat your empire. I'm just making sure you remember what happens when you threaten humans." "You will die here," said. "Probably," Wu Jin agreed. "But I'll take a lot of your drones with me, and every alien species you've enslaved will be watching. They'll see that someone fought back. They'll see that you're not invincible. That's worth dying for." He cut the connection and moved deeper into the city. The drones followed, but he was learning their patterns. They were designed to pacify, not to fight. They expected targets to surrender when faced with overwhelming force. Wu Jin didn't surrender, he adapted, he learned. He turned their own city into a battlefield. An industrial facility stood nearby. Wu Jin broke in, finding manufacturing equipment designed to build gravity platforms. He started taking things apart, learning how they worked. They used a technology that manipulated gravitational fields locally. It was advanced, elegant, efficient. It was also something he could reverse. Working with tools meant for alien hands, fighting against crushing gravity, running on stimulants and adrenaline, Wu Jin built his first weapon. It was ugly and improvised, but when he activated it, a captured drone suddenly shot upward, its own gravity manipulation reversed. It struck the ceiling hard and stopped moving. "Interesting," Wu Jin said to himself. He built 3 more of the devices. When the next wave of drones arrived, he was ready. The reversed gravity devices sent them spinning out of control. Some shot up into the sky. Some crashed into buildings. Some simply tore themselves apart trying to compensate. Through the city's communication system, Wu Jin heard conversations. Voices, confused and worried, they were asking questions. How was one human doing this? Why hadn't he collapsed? When would he stop? Wu Jin checked his power cell. 2 hours left. He checked his body. Every joint ached. His heart was racing too fast. His breathing was labored. Hana's stimulant was wearing off. But he was still standing, still fighting, still advancing through their city like a nightmare they couldn't wake from. "Come on then," Wu Jin said to the drones gathering around him. "Let's see how much damage one stubborn human can do." He charged forward into the mechanical swarm, hydraulics screaming, heart pounding, every movement a declaration that humans would never, ever kneel. Commander stood in the tactical center, watching surveillance feeds with growing disbelief. The human had been fighting for 6 hours now. 6 hours of combat in 4 times Earth gravity. Medical experts said it should be impossible. Biology said the human's body should have failed hours ago. Yet there he was, moving through an industrial sector like death itself had taken physical form. "How many drones has he destroyed?" asked. 47, his tactical officer reported. "He's also damaged 3 manufacturing facilities and disrupted power to the northern district. Sir, he's learning our technology faster than we can adapt. Every wave we send, he counters with something new." Watched the human stumble, catch himself on a wall, then continue forward. The suit the human wore was leaking fluid. Sparks flew from damaged systems, but still he moved. "Mobilize the ground forces," ordered. "Real soldiers, not drones." "Sir, we haven't deployed ground forces in 300 years, the tactical officer said. "Our soldiers train in simulators. They've never seen actual combat." "Then this will be educational," said coldly. Inside the industrial complex, Wu Jin was running on fumes. Hana's stimulant had worn off completely. His hydraulic suit was failing, 1 joint at a time. The power cell indicator showed 20 minutes remaining, maybe less. But he had prepared for this. The industrial sector was a maze of machinery, pipes, and platforms. He had spent the last hour rigging every entrance with traps. They built everything to float, which meant their structures had weak points humans could exploit. A gravity-dependent species didn't think about things falling or collapsing. Wu Jin thought about nothing else. His wrist communicator buzzed. Hana's voice came through, weak and worried. "Captain, I'm receiving a transmission from somewhere. It's encrypted human military code. Put it through, Wujin said. A new voice crackled through static. Captain Park, this is Captain Jin of the Earth spaceship Indomitable. We received your shuttle's emergency beacon. Relief fleet is en route. Estimated arrival 6 days. 6 days. Wujin looked at his power cell, 20 minutes. He looked at his body, feeling everything starting to shut down. 6 days might as well be 6 years. Understood, he said. Tell Earth what happened here. Tell them they invited us here to enslave us. Tell them humanity needs to be ready. Captain Park, hold your position. We're coming. I'll do my best, Wujin said. He cut the connection and turned to face the entrance as it exploded inward. Soldiers poured in, floating on individual platforms. They wore armor that gleamed under the industrial lights. They carried weapons that hummed with energy. They moved in formation, trained and disciplined. They were also completely unprepared for close combat. Wujin triggered his first trap. A suspended platform loaded with industrial materials dropped onto the lead soldiers. Their gravity platforms tried to compensate, but the sudden weight overwhelmed their systems. They crashed to the ground, experiencing full gravity for the first time. The formation broke. Soldiers scattered, trying to stay airborne. Wujin moved between them, using their own platforms against them. He grabbed one soldier's platform controls and reversed them. The soldier shot upward, hit the ceiling, and fell unconscious. But there were too many. Energy weapons fired from all directions. Wujin felt heat wash over him as blasts missed by centimeters. One hit his hydraulic suit, melting through a joint. His left leg suddenly couldn't support his weight properly. He stumbled into cover behind a massive manufacturing machine. His heart was hammering so hard he could barely think. Every breath felt like drowning. The suit was dying, and so was he. Humans, a voice called out, floated into view on a command platform larger than the others. This ends now. Your resistance has been admirable, but reality cannot be forever. Surrender, and you will be treated with honor. Wujin laughed. The sound was ugly, painful, half crazy. Honor? You crashed our shuttle. You tried to enslave my species. You thought we'd just accept it because you have strong gravity and fancy technology. Every species accepts it, said, because the alternative is death. Survival instinct is universal, human. Even your kind must feel it. Oh, we feel it, Wujin said. He was working on his suit's power cell, trying to redistribute the remaining energy. But we also feel something else. Anger, pride, stubbornness. The absolute refusal to let bullies win just because they're strong. Philosophical words from a dying man, said. Maybe, Wujin agreed. But here's something about humans, Commander. We tell stories. Back on Earth, there are thousands of years of stories about people who fought impossible odds, people who stood against empires, people who said no when everyone else said yes. Those stories matter to us. They define us. He finished his work on the power cell. It was dangerous, probably fatal, but it would work. You wanted to make humans into slaves. Congratulations. You've done something worse. You've made us into your enemies, and humans have very long memories. Wujin threw the modified power cell into the center of the room. It landed among the soldiers, sparking and hissing. They stared at it, confused. Then it exploded, not with fire, but with a burst of reversed gravitational force. Every soldier in the room shot upward or crashed down, their platforms completely overwhelmed. The carefully maintained gravity field of the entire facility went chaotic. Wujin ran. His suit was dead now, just dead weight on his body. But the explosion had disrupted gravity throughout the area. For a few precious seconds, everything was lighter, easier to move through. He made it to a service tunnel before gravity reasserted itself. The impact when it returned nearly knocked him unconscious. He lay on the ground, unable to move, waiting for soldiers to find him. They didn't come. Slowly, Wujin pulled himself to a communication terminal. He accessed the city's network and found something incredible. News feeds were showing his fight to every corner of the empire. But more than that, they were showing something else. Labor camps across a dozen worlds were in chaos. The alien species that had enslaved were fighting back. They had watched the humans' impossible resistance and found their own courage. If one individual could fight an empire, what could millions do? The empire was coming apart. His voice came through the terminal. "Human, what have you done?" "I showed them the truth," Wujin said. "You're not invincible, you're just strong. And strength without wisdom is just waiting to fail." "This is your fault," said. "Millions will die in these rebellions." "No," Wujin said firmly. "This is your fault. You built an empire on slavery. You thought gravity made you gods. I just proved you're not." He dragged himself deeper into the tunnels, away from the soldiers, away from the fighting. His body was shutting down. He could feel systems failing, organs struggling, bones grinding together. He had maybe hours left. But he had done what he needed to do. He had sent a message that would echo across the galaxy. Humans don't kneel, not to gravity, not to threats, not to empires that mistake cruelty for civilization. In a dark corner of the service tunnel, Wu Jin finally collapsed. He tried to keep his eyes open, tried to stay alert, but the darkness was pulling at him. His last thought before unconsciousness took him was simple. He hoped Earth remembered him. He hoped they told his story. He hoped future humans would know that when faced with slavery or death, the first human to meet an empire chose death standing rather than life kneeling. Then the darkness swallowed him completely. Wu Jin woke to the sound of Hana's voice. She was speaking softly, urgently, close to his ear. "Captain, you need to wake up. Please wake up." He opened his eyes. Everything hurt. His vision was blurry and his mouth tasted like copper. He was back in the shuttle somehow. Medical equipment surrounded him, jury-rigged and improvised. "How long?" he managed to ask. 18 hours, Hana said. "Some soldiers found you and brought you back here. I think they didn't know what else to do with you. Their whole command structure is falling apart." Wu Jin tried to sit up. Pain shot through every nerve. Sangwoo. "Stable, still in stasis, but stable." Hana put a hand on his shoulder. "Captain, you should be dead. Your heart stopped twice. I had to restart it with the shuttle's emergency defibrillator. Your bones have stress fractures. Your muscles are torn. Your organs are on the edge of failure. You need real medical care, not what I can do here." "The fleet?" Wu Jin asked. "Still 4 days out," Hana said quietly. She was lying and Wu Jin knew it. The fleet was probably 5 or 6 days away still. She was trying to give him hope. "Show me what's happening," he said. Hana helped him to a display screen. The news feeds showed chaos across the empire. The labor camps weren't just rebelling anymore. They were winning. Entire worlds had overthrown their overseers. Species that had controlled for centuries were suddenly free. But it wasn't peaceful. There was fighting, destruction, death. They were trying to maintain control, but they had built their empire on a lie. They had told everyone that resistance was impossible. One human had proven that wrong, and now everything was collapsing. "They're blaming you," Hana said. "The government says you're responsible for millions of deaths." "Maybe I am," Wu Jin said. "But they were already dead, just slowly. At least now they're dying free." A message alert blinked on the shuttle's communication system. Hana opened it. The face of a young appeared, looking nervous and determined at the same time. "Captain Park, my name is. I'm a lieutenant in the Defense Force. I need to speak with you." "I'm listening," Wu Jin said. Looked around as if checking for observers. "What you did, it wasn't wrong. My generation, we've grown up with stories about how our empire was built, but we never questioned it. We never asked if it was right. You made us ask." "What do you want, Lieutenant?" Wu Jin asked. "To help," said. "There's a faction in the military, young officers mostly. We believe the empire needs to change. But the old guard, they want to crush the rebellions, restore order. They're planning something big. What kind of something? The planetary gravity core said. It's what maintains the high gravity on Prime. If it's destroyed, the planet would return to its natural gravity, about 1.2 times Earth standard. The infrastructure would collapse. The floating cities would crash. Millions would die. And why are you telling me this? Wu Jin asked. Because the old guard is planning to blame the destruction on the rebellions. They'll say the rebels attacked the core, that they're terrorists who destroyed our home world. Then they'll use that as justification to crush every rebellion in the empire. Hana looked horrified. They'd kill their own people. They'd sacrifice Prime to save the empire, said. Unless someone gets to the core first. Someone who could actually destroy it and force a different outcome. You want me to destroy your planet's gravity core, Wu Jin said slowly. I want you to end this empire the right way, said. Not with a lie that perpetuates the system, but with an action that makes the old system impossible. If the core is destroyed by a human during this conflict, it can't be used to justify more oppression. It becomes a consequence of the empire's own actions. I can barely walk, Wu Jin said. How am I supposed to get to a planetary gravity core? I can get you there, said. I have access codes, knowledge of the facility, but you'd have to actually destroy it. And Captain, it's deep underground in the highest gravity area of the planet. 6 times Earth standard. Even with help, you might not survive getting there. Wu Jin looked at Hana. She shook her head slightly. Captain, you can't. Your body won't handle it. You'll die before you reach the core. Probably, Wu Jin agreed. He thought about Earth, about the fleet coming, about future humans who would enter a galaxy now watching them closely. But if I don't, they keep their empire. They lie about what happened here. Everything I've done, everything those people in the labor camps are fighting for, it all gets twisted into a story about terrorism and chaos. It's not your responsibility to fix their empire, Hana said. No, Wu Jin agreed. But it's my responsibility to finish what I started. I showed them they weren't invincible. Now I need to prove that actions have consequences. He turned back to when. The old guard moves in 12 hours. We need to go now. Then we go now, Wu Jin said. Hana grabbed his arm. Captain, this is suicide. This whole thing has been suicide, Wu Jin said gently. But Hana, someone has to do this. Someone has to show the galaxy that humans keep their word. I said I'd make the regret threatening us. I'm not done yet. Sangwoo needs you, Hana said desperately. Sangwoo needs you to keep him alive until the fleet arrives, Wu Jin said. The fleet will get you both home, but I need to make sure what we found here, what happened here, leads to real change. Not just more of the same with a different excuse. He pulled away from her grip and started checking his equipment. His gun was empty. His hydraulic suit was destroyed. He had a few tools, a knife, and a body that was barely holding together. I'm not much of a weapon right now, he admitted to. You don't need to be, said. You just need to reach the core and activate the self-destruct. I'll guide you there. Hana was crying quietly. Wu Jin had never seen her cry before, not even when Sangwoo's spine broke, not even when drones were trying to kill them. This isn't fair, she said. No, Wu Jin agreed. But we're not here for fair. We're here to show the galaxy what humans are made of. He checked his gear one last time. His body was screaming at him to stop, to rest, to give up. But Wu Jin had learned long ago that the body's complaints were just suggestions. The mind could override them. The will could push past them. Lieutenant, he said, send me the coordinates. I'm coming to end an empire. Outside the shuttle, the city burned in places where rebellions had started even here, on the home world. The gravity pressed down like a physical weight, but Wu Jin was getting used to it. Or maybe he was just getting used to fighting through the impossible. Either way, he stepped out into the alien city for what he knew would probably be the last time. Behind him, Hana watched with tears running down her face. Ahead of him, the gravity core waited, buried deep in a planet that wanted him dead. Wujin started walking. Each step was agony. Each breath was a victory. Each moment he stayed upright was defiance made manifest. The galaxy was watching. Future humans would remember. The choice between surrender and sacrifice had already been made. Now all that remained was seeing it through to the end. Met Wu Jin at the edge of the industrial sector. The young wore plain clothes instead of a uniform, trying to look like a civilian. Her gravity platform was small and unmarked. "The core facility is 15 kilometers from here," she said. "It's underground, accessible through maintenance tunnels. But Captain, I need to warn you. The tunnels go deep. The gravity increases as you descend. By the time you reach the core chamber, it will be 6 times Earth standard." "How do your people work there?" Wu Jin asked. "We don't," said. "Everything is automated. No one goes to the core facility anymore. It's been running itself for 300 years. They moved through the city streets. Everywhere, signs of chaos showed. Buildings had crashed to the ground when their gravity systems failed. Fires burned where power conduits had been damaged. Citizens huddled in groups, afraid and confused. "Your empire is falling apart," Wu Jin observed. "It was always falling apart," said. "We just couldn't see it. You showed us the cracks." They reached a maintenance entrance hidden beneath a collapsed structure, produced access codes, and the door opened. Inside, a tunnel sloped downward into darkness. "This is as far as I can take you," said. "The gravity below this point would kill me within minutes. Follow the tunnel down. When you reach the core chamber, look for the central control column. There's a manual override panel. Enter this code." She handed Wujin a data chip. "It will initiate a core shutdown that can't be stopped. The system will give you 10 minutes to evacuate before it becomes permanent." "10 minutes," Wujin said. "That's not enough time to get out." "I know," said quietly. "Captain, you don't have to do this. The fleet from Earth is coming. They could negotiate, find another way." "The old guard would use those days to blame everything on the rebellions," Wu Jin said. "You said so yourself. This needs to happen now while the truth is still clear." Looked at him with her large dark eyes. "Why are humans like this? Why choose death over waiting?" "Because waiting gives evil time to rewrite history," Wu Jin said. "And because sometimes the right thing is worth dying for." He entered the tunnel. The door closed behind him with a heavy thud. The descent was immediate and brutal. Every meter down increased the gravity. Wu Jin's legs shook. His breathing became labored. The tunnel walls pressed in, or maybe that was just his vision narrowing. He fell to his hands and knees. Crawling was easier than walking. The rough floor tore his palms, but he couldn't stop. Behind him was failure. Ahead was purpose. A communication came through his wrist device. Not's voice, but another, older and harder. "Human, this is Commander. I know where you are. I know what you're attempting." "Then you know you can't stop me," Wu Jin said between gasps. "I could seal the tunnel, trap you down there, let the gravity crush you slowly." "But you won't," Wu Jin said, "because you want to face me yourself. You want to prove that a human can't actually destroy your world." Silence for a moment. Then, "You're correct, I'm coming down, we'll settle this properly." The tunnel continued downward. Wu Jin lost track of time. He crawled, rested, crawled again. His body was past pain now. Everything was just pressure and exhaustion and the stubborn refusal to stop. Finally, the tunnel opened into a massive chamber. The gravity core stood in the center, a column of energy that stretched from floor to ceiling. The chamber hummed with power. The gravity here was crushing, absolute, inescapable. Wu Jin lay on the floor, unable to move. His vision was fading. His heart struggled to beat. The control panel was 10 meters away. It might as well have been on another planet. A platform descended from above. Stood on it, looking down at the human crumpled on the floor. "You made it farther than I thought possible," said. But this is where it ends. You cannot reach the controls, you cannot destroy the core, you cannot win. Wu Jin didn't answer. He was conserving every bit of energy for what came next. Your species interests me, continued. So much determination, so much waste. If you had simply accepted your role, humans could have prospered under our guidance. Instead, you've brought chaos and death. Better chaos than slavery, Wu Jin managed to whisper. Is it? Asked. Look at you, dying on the floor of an alien facility, accomplishing nothing. Your crew will die when the fleet arrives too late. The rebellions will be crushed. Your sacrifice will be forgotten. What was the point? Wu Jin smiled. It hurt, but he smiled. The point is that one human stood up to an empire. The point is that people across your empire saw someone fight back. The point is that you'll remember us. I'll remember you died alone in the dark, said. No, a new voice said. He's not alone. A platform descended next to. Captain Jin stood on it, wearing a gravity compensation suit and carrying a weapon. Behind her, 3 more humans descended, all armed, all protected by Earth technology. The Indomitable arrived early, Captain said. We pushed our engines to the breaking point. When Lieutenant contacted us with your location, we came as fast as we could. Stared at the humans in shock. How did you get here so quickly? Same way Captain Park survived your planet, said. Humans don't accept impossible as an answer. Now step away from him. Drew a weapon. You're outnumbered. My soldiers will be here in minutes. Then we better work fast, said. What happened next was brief and brutal. The humans moved with training and purpose. Was a commander, not a ground fighter. His weapon fired wide. Captain's shot did not. Fell, his platform crashing to the ground. 2 of the humans helped Wu Jin to his feet. In the gravity compensation suits they wore, they could move freely, could support his weight. They carried him to the control panel. Can you do it? Captain asked. Wu Jin's hands shook as he entered the code. The panel lit up, accepting the sequence. A countdown appeared, 10 minutes in alien numerals but unmistakable. Core shutdown initiated. A synthetic voice announced in both and translated Korean. All personnel evacuate immediately. Let's go, Captain said. But Wu Jin looked at, still breathing, still conscious. The commander's eyes met his. You destroyed our world, said. No, Wu Jin said. I ended your empire. Your world will survive. Your people will rebuild without slave labor and artificial superiority. You'll have to learn to live as equals with everyone else. We were superior, insisted. You were strong, Wu Jin corrected. There's a difference. Strength without wisdom is just waiting to fail. You'll learn that now. They evacuated quickly, the humans carrying Wu Jin between them. The tunnel climbed upward, and with each meter the gravity lessened. By the time they reached the surface, Wu Jin could almost breathe normally. Waited at the entrance. Did you do it? It's done, Captain confirmed. The ground began to shake. Deep below, the gravity core was shutting down permanently. Across Prime, floating cities began to descend. Not crashing, but settling slowly as the artificial gravity field weakened and disappeared. They screamed in panic. Their entire civilization had been built on floating above the ground. Now they would have to learn to walk on it. Get to your ships, said to the humans. The old guard will blame you for this. They'll try to strike back. Let them try, Captain said. The Indomitable has the entire Third Fleet backing it up. Earth isn't sending diplomats anymore. We're sending warships. They reached the shuttle where Hana waited with Sangwoo. The relief on her face when she saw Wu Jin was worth all the pain he'd endured. You're alive, she said, helping him inside. Mostly, Wu Jin said. The shuttle lifted off, joining other human ships leaving the planet. Below, Prime transformed. The floating cities settled. The sky cleared as gravity platforms crashed or retreated. An empire built on elevation was learning to live at ground level. In the weeks that followed, the empire fragmented completely. Some worlds chose independence, others formed new alliances. The labor camps were dismantled. The enslaved species returned home or built new homes. Became a leader in the Reformation movement, working to build a government based on cooperation instead of domination. She corresponded with Wu Jin during his recovery, sharing updates on how her world was changing. Wu Jin spent months in medical treatment. His body had been pushed beyond all reasonable limits. Doctors said he would never fully recover. He walked with a permanent limp. His bones ached in cold weather. His heart had been damaged by the stimulants and stress. But he was alive. More importantly, he had changed the galaxy. 8 months after the incident on Prime, Wu Jin was cleared for light duty. He returned to Earth, where politicians wanted to use him for propaganda, where media wanted interviews, where everyone wanted a piece of the man who said no to an empire. He avoided it all. Instead, he requested assignment to the Space Force Training Academy. He wanted to teach the next generation of humans who would go into space, who would meet alien civilizations, who would represent humanity among the stars. On his first day teaching, a young cadet asked him about Prime. "Sir, were you scared?" Terrified, Wu Jin admitted honestly, "Every moment." "Then how did you do it?" Wu Jin thought about that question carefully. Because fear is just information. It tells you something is dangerous, but it doesn't tell you what to do. I chose to do what was right even though I was afraid. That's not courage. That's just being human. The cadet looked confused. "But sir, the reports say you were impossibly brave." "No," Wu Jin said. "I was impossibly stubborn. There's a difference. Bravery is doing something despite fear. Stubbornness is refusing to accept that fear should stop you. Humans have a lot of faults, but we're the most stubborn species in the galaxy. Remember that." Later that day, Wu Jin received a message from Hana. Sang-Woo had walked for the first time since the accident. The medical technology they'd gained from helping reform the medical systems had made surgery possible that had seemed impossible before. Good could come from terrible situations. That was another human trait. Wu Jin looked out at Earth, blue and green and perfect beneath the station where he taught. Somewhere out in the galaxy, aliens were telling stories about the human who refused to kneel. Those stories would shape how humanity was treated for generations. He hoped future humans would live up to the reputation he'd built, not through violence or aggression, but through that same stubborn refusal to accept injustice. The galaxy had wanted humans to sit down. Gravity had wanted him to lie down. He had chosen aggression not because he loved fighting, but because some things were worth fighting for. Freedom, dignity, the right to stand on your own feet and make your own choices. That was worth dying for. Luckily, he had survived to teach others the same lesson. Humans don't kneel. Not to aliens, not to gravity, not to anyone who mistakes strength for righteousness. That was humanity's message to the galaxy, and the galaxy was listening.